episode 184 of Weighing In with Travis Hartman. I am B Money, the producer. That over there is the talent, Weekend Trav, a.k.a. Travis Hartman. Actually, I don't know if I could say you're the talent at the table today.
Right.
So, Weekend Trav, I want to toss it to you to introduce our special guest right out of the gate here as we're coming to you live from the Caribe Royale, the stadium club here in the Caribe Royale in Orlando, Florida. Weekend Trav, special guest with us.
And new Bantamweight world champion. I got it right. It's Bantamweight, right?
Yes, sir, Bantamweight.
Yeah. Antonio Kingdom Vargas.
You like that?
Congratulations, first and foremost. I know we mentioned it actually, I believe, on the last podcast at the very end of that they just named. I think it was May 18th. They just announced that you are now the full champion, WBA, interim WBA 118-pound champion. How does it feel?
It still feels the same. It hasn't really sunk in yet. Obviously, I wanted to fight for the belt. And it would have felt more like I received the belt instead of them giving it to me. But it was going to happen sooner or later. So that's the way I see it.
I mean, I think you earned it against Guerrero because I was at that fight in December. And what a fight that was. Right, I want to talk about adversity and overcoming adversity. You dropped him in the first round, I believe, right? And then he dropped you in the second round. And you came up off the canvas to then stop him later in that fight. So I don't believe that the title was given to you. I do believe you still earned that title, right? And the upcoming fights, you're going to prove that as well. I'm sure you're going to have something scheduled in the coming months or so. But first of all, I want to make sure you know, like, you earned that title. I don't think you were given anything, okay? You weren't given anything. You're 19-1, 11 knockouts, and you fought some tough people. And you came from adversity in your life as well. But I want to back all the way up. First, congratulations on the title. WBA World Champion. And this is our first world champion in person that we've had on the podcast.
Very true.
Now, we've had multiple world champions via Zoom, like Crawford, Chris Billum-Smith, a bunch of those guys. But you're our first in-person one.
Oh, wow.
So it's an honor, man. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
So I want to go all the way back. 2016, you were an Olympian. I mean, this podcast has become an Olympian podcast, by the way. We had Omari Jones on here, bronze medalist, Olympian. Now we have, it's a great book too. But now we have Antonio Vargas, who is an Olympian. I was talking with Omari about it. Nowadays, just to be an Olympian, it's not like it used to be. When I was boxing in 2004, you won the Olympic trials, you were on the team. You got to go compete for a medal. It's not like that anymore. So when you won the Olympic trials, you still had to go and qualify just to make the team, correct? And I believe you made it all the way. How far did you make it in the actual Olympics? You made it to the round of
Second round.
The second round. So you were one round away, essentially, one win away then from fighting for a medal, I believe then. So how did that feel, first of all, qualifying for the United States Olympic team? At the time, like, that's got to be something pretty phenomenal.
Yeah. During that time, I was already ranked 1 in the U.S. at 114 pounds. That was a weight class I fought, 52 kilograms. So winning the trials, it wasn't really like too of a big thing because I was like, you got to win that, and then you're halfway there to being an Olympian. Yeah. The second process, I had to go overseas and qualify again, and had to rank like in the top 5 in the qualifier that I actually qualified for.
Yeah.
So long story short, I lost my first qualifier.
Yeah.
So that was in Argentina. I lost the first day against that guy I beat last year in the Pan American Games when I won the gold medal. And that was like, man, that was a setback. And I'm like, man, I was a heavy favorite to win the first. Yeah. You know, like Shakur Stevenson, Clarissa Shields, Michaela, they all won their first, Carlo.
Michaela Mayer, yeah.
Yeah, so all them guys, they were just winning in the first round. And I was one of the few guys that lost in the first round that was expected a heavy favorite to win.
Yeah.
So I think it was 2 months after that, we went to Azerbaijan. That was the second qualifier. And I won silver medal. I lost in the semifinals against Bulgaria. And that's when I officially locked in my spot to be an Olympian.
How nervous were you then? I mean, I know you losing that first one. I know Omari, same thing. I think he didn't qualify until the second one as well. So, like, I mean, how nerve-wracking is that? You're like, dude, I'm been number 1. I also won a gold medal in the Pan Americans, by the way, is a big deal, too. My wife won a gold medal in the Pan American Games in tennis. It's a big deal. Like, she won a gold medal in singles, and she won a silver medal in doubles. So that's a big deal in itself. So when you lose in that first round, what did it take for you and your father and your whole team just to kind of gather enough? Like, I don't know what you say. Like, you're just like, I was supposed to win. Like, how heartbreaking is that? And then to bounce back and actually qualify. How excited were you when that happened?
Process was very difficult. That was my first tournament ever losing the first time. Usually I'm always qualifying to the finals, so that was something new for me. Losing the first day, that was the first time that's ever happened to me in my whole amateur career. So that in itself was very heartbreaking, and then just being there an extra 5 days, seeing all my other brothers compete, sisters compete in the Olympics, and I was happy for them, but just me not winning, it kind of takes away from the joy.
Yeah.
So it just taught me perseverance. Long story short, as well, when I qualified for the U.S. trials, I actually lost. It was double elimination.
Yep. Trials are. You had to come back and win twice then.
So I lost to a guy that I beat. I think the same year I had beat him, but what happened was we got headbutted.
Were you no headgears, right?
There was no headgears. Yeah.
See, that was different from when I was coming up too. We were still wearing headgears. That's how old I am.
Yeah.
2004.
Yeah. So it was his name was Brent Venegas. He was I fought him. I had to beat him twice because he beat me the first time. And
Yep.
his double eliminations, you could come back. You go in the bottoms bracket and you got to work your way back up. So long story short, it was 3-minute rounds, 3 rounds, 3 minutes.
Yep.
I won the first round, and it was really easy. I got overconfident. I started keeping my
Just
head.
coasted.
Yeah, I wasn't showboating, but I was overconfident. Just keep my hands down, and we kind of came in. And if my hands were up, I would have never got headbutted. I got split, man. I had to get 5 stitches right after the fight. And that second and third round, I didn't know where I got cut. I thought I got cut here because I'm just seeing blood go everywhere.
Yeah.
So that kind of, it definitely changed my
Was it the first time you'd ever been cut?
first time ever been
Yeah,
cut.
it's new. So that first cut is always like you don't know how you're gonna react.
So like I said, I thought it was here, so I'm being a lot more cautious, and I lost the second and third round because of that, and had to come back, on the bottom bracket, work my way up, and I was able to, fight him again. I had to beat him, then I had to beat him again, and that's when I locked in my spot as a U.S. champion.
How did you feel? I mean, going into that, this guy had to have so much confidence because he beat you already, right? And he's probably like, yeah, this guy. Now you're in the I don't know if it's called the losers bracket, but that's what we call it in basketball, like a losers bracket. You got dropped down to the losers bracket to fight yourself out of it, right? Like I know people get
Consolation bracket,
get offended by
consolation
that stuff,
bracket.
but it is what it is, right?
That's
like
what it is,
yeah. So you had to come back out of there and beat this guy again. How did you feel overcoming that though? Like I mean, that's got to be. I don't know. That's got to be amazing because I made it to the quarterfinals of Olympic trials. That's it. That's the furthest I made it in the Olympic trials. I turned pro that same year, 2004. So how did it feel being able to overcome not only a cut and a loss to a guy that you're already beaten? You're number one in the United States. You've been number one for a hot minute. I mean, how's your confidence feel after that?
I remember going back to my room that day and just getting on my knees, and I was crying. I'm like, Lord, like I don't believe you brought me this far just to lose. And I remember the time frame. It felt like forever. I was so desperate. I've never, a point in my life, ever felt so desperate to get back in the ring because I knew I could beat this guy. I beat him before, and I knew he was nowhere near my level. So it took I had a day off, and then the next day I fought. I knocked the guy out in the second round, and then I had to fight the guy the day after that. But it was within like 3 days. I remember it felt like that time span. It felt like forever, and I was just so desperate.
Yeah.
To get back in the ring. And once I beat him, I'm like, okay, this feels a little better. But then I had to beat him again.
Oh my God. So you got to fight him 3 times.
Fought him 3 times, yeah.
3 times in a span of what, 3 or 4 days?
About 4 days, yeah.
See, that's something people don't realize about the Olympics and amateur boxing. First of all, Olympics is one of the only sports where boxing is amateurs compete. All the other sports, it's professionals that are competing. You got baseball, you got tennis. They're all professionals competing in the Olympics. Boxing is amateurs. They let pros in them now, but nobody really does it. It's usually mostly all amateurs. So like people don't realize that pros fight like 3, 4, 5 times a year. You guys are fighting 3 times in 4 days,
Yeah.
right? I don't think people realize that like to actually qualify for the Olympics and then get in the Olympics, you're fighting like every day.
Yeah.
Like the toll that takes on your body and mentally it's pretty phenomenal.
And you were still nursing that cut too on the top?
Yeah, right after the fight, they took me. It was my wife. She was back there at the time. We were boyfriend and girlfriend, but she was back there like holding my hand because I'm just crying like I just lost. And then I got this big old gash in my head, and doctors like laying me down, just stitching me up and stuff like that. So I got 5 stitches that day.
You know what's crazy is in pro boxing, if you get a cut, you can't fight for a certain amount of days.
Yeah.
But we're talking about amateur boxing. This guy's cut, and he goes on to
It
fight
depends
and
on the- You
qualify.
could be looking at weeks in a lot of cases.
Months.
That MMA, all of them. I mean, they'll give you months, weeks. It just depends how bad the cut is, where it's at.
The conventional wisdom they usually say for cuts, how many ever stitches you got, it's a month to heal. So if you got 5 stitches, they would say 5 months to properly heal that, and you got 5 stitches, and you fought in like less than 25 hours. Yeah, like that's
right.
insane.
I can still feel this. Every time I touch this cut, man, it takes me back to that memory.
It's very nostalgic, huh?
Yeah, just man, coming back and being able to get the victory. But
So what a perseverance spirit to like go through, like just hearing that and kind of hearing and trying to listen to the emotions in your voice as you're talking about it. Just maybe can you dig a little deeper into that? Just talk about the perseverance of that moment. I mean, because that's a short span of days, if I mean hours you're looking at.
yeah, it was one of them things where I'm like, man, I didn't know if I was gonna be able to fight with the same fire, because I have an aggressive style. I like to make the fight and keep the center of the ring. So I definitely thought, I'm like, man, how am I gonna do this? I got a cut in my head. If I headbutt, if we clash heads and there's no headgears, there's a high possibility of me getting cut again. And the doctor actually told me when I got cut, he was like, hey, we're actually supposed to stop the fight.
Yeah.
I was a heavy favorite to him because I had just won the Pan American, gold medalist. So they're like, this guy is gonna be an Olympian. So he told me, hey man, like with your cut, how deep it was, we're supposed to stop it. But since it was you, we figured the experience you have, we're gonna let it go. We'll stitch you up, and if you do good, we'll. But if it opens again, we're gonna have to.
Yeah.
Reputation pays off, man.
It definitely paid off that time.
And here we are.
So you're an Olympian. You go to the Olympics. You lose in the second round, and then what's that process of the conversation with you and your team about turning pro? Was that always in the books? Did you always fight amateur and be like, you know what? I know that one day I want to turn pro. I know one day I want this. Or what was your initial goals? The little boy Antonio Vargas. What was your initial goals when you first started boxing?
My initial goal was I wanted to become a gold medalist in the Olympics. So when I lost, I thought about staying another 4 year USA Boxing. They're like, hey, we would like to stay.
Yeah,
we would like
take
you to
care
stay.
of you probably.
Yeah, they're gonna take real good care of me. And at that time, I wanted to get married with my future wife at the time, with boyfriend and girlfriend. So I'm like, I don't think this amateur stuff is gonna work out because the traveling. I lived in OTC for about 8 months in
Olympic
Denver,
Training Center. Yep.
and just
Colorado Springs, right?
Colorado Springs, yeah, and just we were traveling to countries like every 3-4 months. So I didn't like that part. I had to do it, because obviously that was a journey I had to do to be an Olympian. But I'm like, nah. I talked to my team. I'm like, I think the best next step for us is to pursue the pro route and to see if we could become a world champion. And it's almost 9 years ago now.
And it just came true.
World champion now. So.
WBA world. So this is the cool part, is that you're forever in the history books. Nothing anybody can say or do. Your name is etched now as a WBA world champion. No matter what. Like, dude, I see you're smiling, but like that, how cool is that? Like, I never got to say that. Like, that's for me as a pro boxer, like former pro boxer, I would have given anything to be a world champion or even fight for a world title. You got one.
Yeah.
How cool is that, man? Like, that's legit.
Cool. Yeah, it's cool, man. It's definitely a blessing. And every fighter, professional, that's your goal. You want to become a world champion. You want to keep it as long as you can. And eventually, my goal is to become the undisputed world champion at 118 pounds. So that's my next goal. I got 1. I got 3 to go.
I like it.
And, after that, just keep building little by little.
I love it. I mean, it's phenomenal. You're the WBA world champion. Like, that's just so cool. And now you're on the podcast weighing in with Travis Hartman.
Oh, it's usually good luck. I mean, this is good stuff.
I don't want to. I'm gonna put it out there.
Just saying.
So Ryan Main came on our podcast. He was 7-0, and he fought the week later, 8-0. He got a knockout in his eighth fight. Second round. Corey Marksman came on the podcast, fought in the co-main event on DAZN, knocked his guy out in the 7th round to stay undefeated. Amari Jones came on the show. His next fight, obviously, we'll see too. But when they come on the show, what we're saying is it's pretty good vibes because usually you win your next fight. So no pressure or anything, but it's good vibes. So it's no pressure because it just happens.
Yeah. We just like to think that we're a stepping stone in that process at this point.
I mean, dude, it's pretty cool because what I also got to see is the Ring magazine, which is considered the Bible of boxing. There's articles on you now because you're the WBA champion. It's pretty cool. And you're in that weight division too, that the weight division right above you is, I think the guy's name is Naoya Inoue. He's there. Yeah. I mean, I know you want to be undisputed, obviously, at the 118-pound division too. Let's say you get that in the next year. Do you want Naoya Inoue? Or how do you feel about that? Yeah,
that's definitely a fight. Like I said, he's a pound for pound. That's one of the greats right now, especially for him to be undisputed at 118 and go up to 122 and do it again. That's very hard to do.
Yeah.
And
one undisputed is hard.
Yeah, just to do that by itself is hard. He did it twice. So it's only a handful of fighters that's been able to do that. So the way I look at it is my goal is to do it at 118, and after I'm able to accomplish that, then look at that. But I have to be able to get past this, this hurdle in my life, and then that'll definitely be something I look forward to in the future once I get what I'm looking to get to.
With that being said, then, do you guys? I know that Box Lab is your promoter. Amari and Eric are awesome. I love those guys. Like we've been very huge, big fans of these guys before we even started doing the podcast here at the Crib Royale inside the Stadium Club. But we were already fans of them. We can watch their shows from the beginning. We were watching their shows before anybody else was watching those shows. And I told B Money afterwards, I was like, hey, these guys are going to be pretty good, man. Watch. And what happened?
Yeah, there you go.
They're literally
Quality shows. I mean, they worked hard on like perfecting the craft. And
They got
getting
better
everything
every
just-
show.
Every show is a little bit better, a little bit better.
So
Yeah,
I'm.
man.
How did that happen now too? Because so here's another backstory about you is you were signed with Top Rank, right? Lost one fight, and they're like, we'll see you later. How like that's just the cutthroat, terrible part about boxing too is that. Yeah. But how does that feel to know that somebody got rid of you essentially, right? And then somebody else like, no, we believe in you. So how did that come about with Eric and Amari with Box Lab Promotions and your signing with them after Top Rank let you go essentially?
Yeah, no, Eric and Amari, man, I really thank God for putting them in my life because at that time, nobody wanted to sign me. And then being
After one loss.
Yeah,
How
Wild.
insane
That's
is that?
Wild.
yeah, and then being a 118 pounder, it's harder to get fights at the lower weight classes.
Yep.
So they knew, hey man, it's gonna be hard to get this kid fights. But they're like, hey man, you have a good reputation, you carry yourself well, you're a believer in Christ, and you're an Olympian, and we believe we could help you. So yeah, so they took a chance on me, and me and Eric, we always talk because he was saying, he's like, man, we thought you were going to be the hardest one to deal with, but he's like, you're actually the easiest fighter out of all the fighters we have, and you're our first world champion. So we laugh about it now. This was about 3 years ago when we used to talk about this, but like I said, I'm the first world champion. They helped me to get in a position where I'm at, and man, they've been so good to me. I'm really thankful to have
Man,
them.
you probably don't know it, but me and Eric has had conversations about you for the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah,
Private conversations like me and him. Because Eric's gonna be. I talk with Eric almost after every show. Like because we're just friends now. Like we're friends, but we talk about boxing obviously. But we've talked about you, and I've never met you. But it's just so funny that the last 2 or 3 years I've had conversations about you with him privately, obviously not on the podcast, even just privately. And it's just really cool to meet you because this is the first time I've ever met you as well. I've been to your fights, I've watched you fight, but I've never had to sit down in an official like a meeting. So coming on this podcast, I was pretty excited about it. I was like, listen, I've saw this guy fight multiple times now, and I've never met him. So it's like I said, I do this a lot and I get crap for it. I gush all the time.
What kind of? Yeah, you do gush a little bit. Okay, that's okay. I mean,
It's deserving.
It's deserving. I'm not saying it's never not deserving, but in this case, I'll let you gush away. Gush away.
Well, you know what? He's already got it. He's a WBA world champion. He was an Olympian. Just being an Olympian on its face is so difficult. And that's where I'm just so impressed when like Amari was in here too. I'm like, being an Olympian is just, it's a process, man. Like, I mean, you don't realize like you're 1-2 fights away from not being any of that, right? Like you would have lost one more fight. We're not talking about the Olympian Antonio Vargas. Yeah. So it's just wild. And the same thing as the pro career goes along. It almost was nothing for you after one loss. People don't realize how much perfection is required as a professional boxer. You can't sleep for a second either. And that's the beauty and the beast about boxing. I talk about it a lot. In football, if you're up by 25, 30 points, you can run the clock out to win, right? Basketball, if you're up by 30 points, you run the clock out to win. In boxing, you got to be on point the entire fight. You can be winning 10, 11 rounds in a 12-round title fight, and just for a half a second in that 12th round, literally lose focus and get knocked out and lose that whole fight. That's what the beauty and the beast of boxing is all about. And you can talk about that a little bit. You got dropped in the second round of your last fight, and you recovered. You were pretty hurt. That it looked like when I was there ringside, it looked like that was a good shot.
And I was hurt. I've never, because I've been knocked out one time. I've been dropped one time. And then that's the second time I've been dropped. So it was different because being knocked out, you just kind of you don't remember nothing.
Yeah.
But this one I remember really clearly. I remember it was like a fear that had gripped me, because before that when I fought Jonathan, he dropped me, but I was still good. My legs felt strong.
It was like a flash knockdown,
It was
essentially.
a flash knockdown. He just called me clean on the chin. I seen it coming when I got hit with that shot. This shot, I didn't know. I thought I got hit with a hook. And I just remember getting up, feeling scared. And I just remember holding him, and I blanked out for like 30. That was not me fighting. The last 30 seconds of that round, I blacked out. I don't remember nothing. I don't even remember going to my corner, sitting down on the sofa for the whole minute. So I went blank for about a minute and a half.
How wild is that? I mean, I was there ringside, and as a fighter, I was like, he's hurt. I'm like, oh my, I'm like, crap.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, I mean, your survival instincts came in. You're just like, I need to survive this because I know that I'll get better. But like your instincts kicked in because you weren't thinking because you don't remember it, right? But that was your instincts. That's a tribute to probably your training. That's a tribute to your coaches. That's a tribute to your whole entire career because you weren't even thinking, but yet you figured out a way to get through that round. And thank God that you did because we wouldn't be talking about world champion Antonio Vargas. Because you lose that fight, you're not a world champion.
Yeah, that fight I seen, it was definitely supernatural. Because I remember when I got hit, I just remember being down on the floor. I remember calling on the name of Jesus when I was down on the floor because that's how scared I was. I'm like, Jesus, help me. I remember getting up. I just remember the ref, doing the count or whatever. And I just remember see the guy come at me. I remember holding him. And after that, I don't remember nothing else. And just an experience that, like I said, it was supernatural. It was just me calling on Jesus' name. It's like I seen a side of God that I'm like, wow, like, you saved me. If he wouldn't intervene in that fight, I'd have got stopped that second round. Because that was not me fighting. I believe that was the Spirit of God giving me strength to finish that round.
I guess I don't even have to bring up the fact, do you believe in God or not? Which I usually have to ask that question with most people. Yeah. Obviously, I don't have to ask that question. With your nickname is Kingdom, Antonio Kingdom Vargas. Pretty cool, but also pretty telling the fact that
walkout music, all of it. You kind of get the whole the vibe.
I gotta tell him what B Money said the first time we watched you fight, and you came with your walkout music, and it was like it's not hype music at all. No. B Money looked over at me, he goes, he better be really good because that music is not hyped up music. Yeah. And he looked at me, he's like, he really said that, and then luckily, you were really good. Yeah. But he was like, you don't usually see guys walk out to that. And I was like, that's what's cool about it because we were talking off air a little bit here, and I think you're right. The older you get, the more you start realizing that you're just not doing it for yourself anymore, right? You have a family, you have a wife as well, but also we have God. Like, I mean, this is not, I know it's your world championship, but it's not, right? Like, this is God's. Like, everything that you're doing, and by what you just spoke in your last fight, God was like, hey, brother, I'm about to award you this world title. Yeah. Get up, get through this, and guess what's waiting on the other side? It didn't happen right away in December. It happened in May, but pretty cool, man.
That's how I look. That's how I see it as it's a gift from God. Because like I said, the last fight, I seen God intervene, and I can't take credit for that. I know He gave me the strength to overcome and to get up, and I felt His hand off me. Like, it's something, it's hard to explain. Unless you go through an experience like that, you won't be able to explain it. But like I said, man, I know God was there the whole time, and like I said, He gave me the victory so I could be in the position where I'm at now. And I know this is just the beginning of something new, of something greater, and just to keep on doing it for His glory.
So with that being said, I mean, what kind of a world champion do you want to be? What kind of champion what kind of legacy do you want to leave now in the boxing world? Because you are a world champion now. Now you're in the 0.01% of fighters that win a world title, because that's not normal, right? It's just not. It's very abnormal to win a world title, which is also the things that God does is very abnormal as well. So how do you want to be remembered as a 118-pound WBA world champion?
My main goal in this sport, because it's a short span of time, I can't box forever. I have I'll be 29 in August. Let's say maybe 7 more years left. With these 7 years, as a young fighter, you want to be the best. You kind of want to build a legacy of who you are, how great you are. And there's this quote, Muhammad Ali, I'm going to show you how great I am.
Yeah.
And as a fighter, you train for it. It's not like a team sport where it's all on you. But I don't, and I had that same desire. I wanted to be the best, show people how great I am. But just maturing and seeing my walk with Christ, I just want to show people how great He is. And my main goal in the sport is to glorify Jesus Christ, to show people how great my God is, that there's no God like my God, that He came down as in a human form as Jesus to to relate himself to us, that if we believe in him, we'll have this everlasting life, and that he'll transform our lives. He'll transform everything about us, you know, from all our bad habits. He gives you a new start when you put your faith in him, and he's given me a new life, and I live my life to serve him and to serve my fellow, brother and sister in Christ.
Man, I love it. I got a little bit goosebumps. We're recording on a Sunday as well, and I feel like we just got a very good sermon. We got a testimonial, and that's what I love the most. Is he wasn't preaching; he was just speaking from his heart and speaking from what God's put on you. Yeah. And I love that, man. Like B Money, same way. Like we're very big followers of Christ. Obviously, we're sinners. Mm-hmm. I'm a sinner. Yeah. I sin daily. I try not to, but I do. I'm imperfect, and that's another. God died for our sins, and we're sinners. Yeah. We're sinners every single day, and like I said, I try not to be, but I also ask for forgiveness every single day too.
Blood of Christ that washes that away.
Man,
it's awesome, and it's an awesome testament that now with you and your platform and the fact that you were a steward of these things, of the championship, all the stuff, amazing. And the fact that, because I love when I ever hear like a professional athlete profess their faith, and they usually do that when it's like accolade time, like we get that. You walk it, you talk it.
Before the world title.
You know, when I made my joke years ago, I'm like, wow, this guy must be something. If he's coming out of that gospel song, he must be something. You walk the talk, you talk the talk, and you back it up. And every time the mic's in front of you, you're giving glory to God. And that is so commendable, not for your glory commendable, but the fact that you're elevating his kingdom. Yeah. And that's amazing to me. I love the fact that you do that. I think it's awesome. Just awesome.
Yeah. And going back to the music too, it took me about 3 years for God to transform my mind. Because just growing up in the world, just worldly music, it's the older you get, you realize like it's really toxic. It shapes the way you think, how you act, how you feel.
The words and the lyrics and stuff.
The words, the lyrics, it has a big influence. And when I got married at 20. And I remember, like, God just started convicting me, hey, you should not be listening to this music. You're my son. I took you out of this world. I placed you to the side. So he's like, honor me in what you listen to. And it took me about 3 years to really transform my mind to get to a place where, like, now I hate that music. Yeah. And before, like, you see most athletes, they walk out some type of worldly music. The beat, it's to hype you up.
Sure.
Yeah.
So every time I come in a fight, I worship God in the way how I live, and music is a very powerful instrument. It's a very powerful tool, and it sets the atmosphere. So every time I walk in the ring, my goal is to invoke the spirit, the presence of God, because he's there in the ring when I fight, and I glorify him, and he gives me strength to glorify him and to lift up his name. So the process, man, of the transformation, the renewing of the mind, it took time.
Scriptural based, right there. Yeah.
The renewing of the mind, and that's I thank God for that, man, because it's a process. As a believer, we all, like you said, we're all sinners. We all struggle with something, and we all go from glory to glory. We all have different things that God has to work in us, and it's a matter of us submitting, like, Lord, help me. Your way is better than my way, and that's the hard process. Like I said, every believer deals with something different, and laying it down to his feet, it does take time.
I mean, think about that. It's to be a professional boxer, you have to have a little bit of an ego, right? Because you're just speaking about it. We don't have teammates, essentially. I mean, we have a coach and all that, but when you're in that ring, it's just you. So you do have to have a little bit of an ego, but at the same time, to accept Jesus Christ in your life, you got to put your ego aside. Mm-hmm. So that's a tough balance, I think, for professional boxers or anybody in those singular sports, because you do have to submit. And as a man, you're like, I'm tough. I'm not submitting to anything, right? But you have to submit to Jesus Christ. You have to. Like, that's the point of it all. Right? There's something bigger than us. We're serving something so much bigger than us, bigger than a world title, bigger than anything else. We're serving this guy. When I step in front of, at the pearly gates, and I've spoken about this before too, I want to go in front of him so exhausted and wore out to know that every gift that he gave me here on this earth, that I squeezed every bit of it out. I always tell B Money all the time, like, man, I'm just wore out. Like, I'm doing all this stuff. I have a family. We do the podcast. We do my own business and all this. But I'm like, you know what, though? He gave me these talents to be able to do this. I was like, I'm going to do it. Like, that's it. I'm tired a lot. And I know B Money is too. B Money works hard too. But I'm just like, for me, when I stand in front of God, I want God to be like, you did. You used every single bit of talent that I bestowed upon you. And I hope that we're giving him glory as much as we possibly can on the podcast. And we really try really hard. And I don't think there's a podcast that's went by that we don't speak something about God. And I love that. We get a lot of flack too, because we drink some bourbon on here sometimes too. We get a lot of flack for that. Like, oh, you guys believe in Christ, but you drink bourbon. Like, I do. We sip it. We don't get drunk. We don't get rowdy. We don't get crazy. But yes, we do sip bourbon and we talk about it. Obviously, we don't have any today. We're honoring you for that. But we do appreciate you coming on, Antonio. Is there anything that you want to leave? You have any sponsors? You have any fans? Is there anything you want to leave these guys with in regards to your future? Obviously, I want to have you back on this podcast, especially as soon as you guys announce something. And I can't wait. I hope it's here at the Box Lab. But I know that it's going to be a pretty big fight, whatever your next one's going to be. So if it's not here, it's fine. We'll watch you still. But do you want to leave anybody with anything?
Yeah, first, I just want to thank, Box Lab Promotion for helping me to get to the position where I'm at right now. Eric and Omari has, played a huge factor, in my career. So I just want to, thank them. I just want to thank Christ, and I want to kind of go back to something that you said, and you're talking about standing before God. And most Christians don't even realize that one day we're going to have to give an account, that we're going to stand before Christ and give an account on how we lived our life. And I tell believers, the most important day is the day you die, because the day you die, you're going to stand before God and you're going to give an account. So, I guess my message to anybody who's watching me, you have purpose, and your purpose is only found in Christ. So build the relationship, build that fellowship, get to know your Creator, Jesus Christ. He came down in human to relate to you, and open up the Word. Start with the book of Matthew. Continue to read, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. Feed yourself. That's how you know God. He gave us a book to get to know Him. And if you do that, you just start seeing sides of God, of Christ, that you'd be like, wow, I never knew this about Him. And like I said, He gives us all gifts, all talents, and a purpose. Most people don't know what our purpose in life is. You will come to learn what you're made for when you seek the Creator, Christ. And that's what I want to leave people. Like I said, life is bigger than this physical life. We're only here for 80 years. We die. But there's an eternal life that's forever, and that's with Christ. So live this life, this short span of time that we have, to glorify Christ with whatever gifts, whatever talents He's given you. And just in doing so, God is beautiful. And your word says He has come to give us life and life more abundantly. He's life and peace in His Spirit. And that's something that transformed my life. And I just want that for my fellow, brother and sister, and even maybe unbelievers that don't know Him, to get to know Him. It will change your life. He changed my life for the better. I'm thankful I live my life for Him. And like I said, it's an honor just to serve Him.
I mean, thank you. I mean, what else do you say? I mean, thank you. Like, I hope that there's a lot of younger kids that are watching this podcast, even a lot of boxers that are out there that don't know God. I hope they see this. Like, I really do. And that's my prayer, that not only do we get our word out there, but I want to get His word out there, because it's your living testimonial, and you're continued. And what's really cool about it is you're just getting started.
This is just the beginning.
You just won a WBA world title. So again, Antonio, like me and B Money, like we're very honored to have you on the podcast. There's nobody on this podcast yet that I haven't been honored to have him on, because if I wasn't, I wouldn't have him on. But so we're honored to have you on, and I'm just glad to see you in person, that you're the real deal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what you see off there, what you see in the boxing ring, what you see everywhere else, this is him in person. He's this same person. And that's what my goal ultimately in life too, is I want people to be like, yeah, the Travis you see is the Travis you see all the time. That's the best. That's the genuine version of you. And I love that. There's no hidden agenda. There's no nothing. It's, you believe in God. You're a very talented guy, but you are who you say you are. And there's the old saying is, when people show you who they are, believe them. Well, I believe that Antonio Vargas is a good dude. Positive good.
Thank you.
I guess, how do you close it from there? I guess that's it, right? So I have goosebumps. I mean, he was talking. I'm like, goodness gracious.
I know, man.
So, wow. Weekend Trav. Antonio Vargas. It's been great. Thank you for coming on the podcast. So this is one Antonio Kingdom Vargas. Hopefully we get to hear soon what's next for you coming up. I'm sure Box Lab will be promoting that pretty heavily. But any other sponsors, anyone else to thank on your side?
So, Box Lab Promotions, Rival, they sponsor me. Some of the best gloves.
It's a good gear, man.
I'm thankful for them. And, just thank my family, Heart of Warrior Boxing Gym. My coach, Doel, my father, put me in the sport of boxing. And all glory to Jesus.
There we go. Amen.
God bless.
All right. God bless. Thanks, bud. All right. So that was one Antonio Vargas. Wow. That was
Another Olympian.
Another Olympian, a world champ, WBA world champ, and just kind of a powerful message, honestly. The first time I think ever in my podcast career that I've been tongue-tied weekend Trav at the very end of that. I didn't know.
Yeah, B Money was
transition.
shell-shocked.
I was shell-shocked, per se. Anyways, weekend Trav. Let's get to the actual podcast part, the episode of 184 here. Wayne and Travis Hartman. We are here at the Caribe Royale, the stadium club within it, where we catch not only sporting events, we catch boxing shows, usually promoted by Box Lab. But if for all of your sports watching desires and needs, please come out to the stadium club here in the Caribe Royale in Orlando. Beautiful resort. It's busy this weekend. It's Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah, it was busier than normal Sunday. And now it makes sense why.
Absolutely.
The valet parking was a little jammed up.
Our man was out there, though. He was ready for me. He's like, man, that guy doesn't need a ticket. Just take his key card.
Exactly.
Take his key card. Anyway, so weekend Trav, let's get to it. What else, now that Antonio Vargas has stepped away, what do you have for us?
B, I want to throw something at you.
Ooh, okay.
The great Manny Pacquiao at age 46 is coming out of retirement and fighting world champ, WBC world champ Mario Barrios. How do you feel about that?
I think my gut response to that is it's a great money grab. I don't know who's promoting the fight, so I can't speak to that. I'm not smart enough to speak to that. But whoever is, it's a good money grab, I think. People will watch it. Are you asking me who I think is going to win or what that looks like?
Overall, what are your thoughts in general?
Overall, I think if I'm in that weight division and I see this happening, I'm probably pretty ticked that somebody can come out of retirement. I know he is a future Hall of Famer, if not current Hall of Famer, but to come out of retirement, even after the last time we saw him in the ring, did not look very good, in my opinion.
He fought Ugas, I believe.
Yes. So there's a whole, I saw it online somewhere, but there's a whole charting out all these guys that have fought each other. It's kind of like the Kevin Bacon chart with Ugas is in there, Barrios is in there, Pacquiao is in there. And when you kind of sift it all the way to the bottom with Pacquiao and Barrios, it's like, I don't know, man. This is definitely, I think it's good for the finances, but other than that, I don't see how he wins this one, and I could be wrong. It could be looking at a miracle, but I haven't checked if it's on Hard Rock yet or not.
It is.
Okay. I would imagine Barrios is a pretty heavy favorite.
It wasn't heavy. He was a favorite, but it wasn't heavy. It was actually
interesting.
I think it's worth it. But
your thoughts?
I think Manny Pacquiao has a shot.
Okay.
At actually winning.
Is that your mind or your heart talking? Because usually when you vote,
when you
go with your heart, usually that's when you get in trouble and you lose a bet to me.
I know, and this could be a swill bet.
Ooh,
I still have the swill at home. It's in the jar still.
July 19th. Yeah. It's coming up.
So I'm not making the prediction yet. I'm saying I think he can win.
Okay.
Mario Barrios, out of all of the, of course, Mario Barrios out of all of the welterweights right now, I think is the weakest of the welterweight world champions. Not a bad thing. He's still a world champion. So when I say that, I'm saying the weakest of the world champions.
Gotcha.
He's legit. But B Money, he beat Ugas, who obviously beat Pacquiao. Yeah. But also there is a nice little 6 degrees of separation that you're talking about because Barrios has fought Keith Thurman, lost the unanimous decision. Well, Manny Pacquiao beat Keith Thurman. Yep. And then you throw in the rest of these guys, or Ugas, which makes it off. And then Fabian Maidana, who is related to Maidana. That's who Barrios beat. And I believe he got the world title when he beat Ugas, which was the interim world title. Mm-hmm. And then he defended against Maidana. And then he got a draw against Abel Ramos in his last fight. So I think Manny Pacquiao and team, he's reunited with Freddie Roach. But I think they strategically picked this guy.
Oh, sure.
And I do believe that I think Pacquiao has earned the right over his historic career that, yes, he should get a title shot in his comeback. I do. I know he's 46, but he doesn't. I think fighters nowadays are going later in their career. I'm not saying he's 46. Manny Pacquiao at 46 is the Manny Pacquiao we know, but I'm saying maybe it's enough. It's enough.
It's not exactly a super overweighted division at this point. right? I mean, you're not talking about a lot of things.
I mean, you got Boots
titles.
Ennis is a big one, but he's not fighting. But he won't fight Boots Ennis. He knows better.
Correct. So let me give you the Hard Rock here. So this is as of what's today? Today is May 25th. This is not I'm not coercing anyone to gamble, nor is it a recommendation. But what I'm showing you here on Hard Rock Bets, Mario Barrios, a minus 600 favorite. That's pretty big.
Yeah, that is.
Pacquiao being the underdog, plus 375. So.
Yeah, that is pretty big.
Yeah. And so I think they might be looking at the factors that I kind of mentioned. Well, I didn't even mention the age part. I mean, what is he, 46?
46.
Good Lord. He's older than me. And I can't usually say that anymore.
And Barrios is 30. He's literally could be his
That
dad.
makes a difference. That does
Of course it
make
does.
a difference.
Of course it does.
So I don't know, Weekend Trev. I think, will I watch it? Yeah.
I mean, yes.
am I going to watch the thing? Of course I'm going to watch it. Do I hope he puts on a great performance and it doesn't just look like a young guy beating up an old guy? Yeah, that's what I hope.
Yeah, we don't want to see that.
We don't want to see that again. We saw that last summer, didn't we?
Oh, you're talking about, Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson, his picture is over there around the corner.
Who's
you
a
can't see it on the
scary
camera.
figure. But, yeah, I mean, that was, it is what it is. Of course, listen, Father Time is undefeated.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't think Manny Pacquiao looked bad against Ugas. I thought Ugas was a bad style for Manny Pacquiao. I didn't know why they chose him, to be fair. And then I'm afraid that Manny Pacquiao, and Freddie Roach used to say this a long time ago, that if Manny Pacquiao ever goes broke, it's gonna be because he gave his money away, not because he wasted or spent it. Because he's very faith based too, and we had a faith-based Antonio Vargas on here, and I love it.
And doesn't he
He's a
have
world champion.
doesn't he own or he runs a Filipino basketball team or
I think so. He's a senator. Yeah, he was elected. I don't know if he still is, but at one time he was a senator there, and he's ran for president. He's like the guy. He's a pretty phenomenal character of a person, like for sure. There's a lot about Manny Pacquiao. There's gonna be books and movies.
I think he just
about
has
this
the
guy.
he just had the itch. He had the itch, and like you said, it was a
I
strategic.
hope it's an itch and not money generated.
No, and when I say money grab or when I say things like that, I'm not trying to say because I think he needs the money. That's not what I'm saying at all. I just think it's there are dollar signs, and it's like, well, kind of hard to pass that up. And if I'm promoters and I'm smart and I'm trying to get, it's pretty smart because if Mario Barrios, no discredit to him, if he's main event of a pay-per-view, are you buying that pay-per-view? Are you excited about it without someone like Manny Pacquiao's name tied to it?
Exactly, you're correct. He needs a dance partner, and there's a reason why that his last. I mean, he fought Maidana's brother or nephew or something, and then Abel Ramos. I don't think anybody watched though. To be honest, that's not a fight that's not a headliner that you pay to watch. You're just not. And I'm sorry. And listen, I never won a world championship. No, I didn't. But nobody wants to see Barrios unless he's fighting a big name.
Yeah.
And that's good for him too. He deserved a big payday, and he'll probably get it. Probably be his biggest payday as well.
No shame in it whatsoever. I mean, I'm not shaking my head like, Manny don't. No, because he's in great shape. We see him like
he looked like it.
He looks good. He looks sharp.
I'd like to see his sparring.
Training-wise.
I'd like to see his sparring though.
Yeah, which we haven't seen. I've only seen him shadow boxing on a basketball court.
Usually
so
they don't ever release the sparring. Yeah. But what if somehow Manny Pacquiao wins? Then what?
Stranger things.
What does that do? Oh my gosh. What does that do for the division, the world? Like, what does that do?
How many more mid-40s guys are going to want to come out?
Oh my gosh,
dude, are you coming back? You actually technically never left.
I had never officially retired, so I wouldn't technically ever be coming out of retirement. But I've never officially announced retirement either.
That's true.
So I mean, you know what? Manny Pacquiao wins. Maybe I'll get the bug. Maybe I'll get some inspiration.
Here we go.
Man. Oh, sorry.
Well, so that's what I think. I mean, you asked the question. That's what I think, and that's what's news, I guess, this week in the boxing world. Other than that, it's been pretty quiet, I would say. Yeah,
there were some fights over in England, and I was speaking with Dave Schroeder, our English correspondent, and he's going to get back on the horse with us here soon too. Tumwa fought.
Oh yeah, that's
over
right.
the weekend.
Yeah,
got a knockout.
A
nasty knockout for sure. Josh Taylor, former world champion too, fought and lost again. I think it's 3 straight losses now for him. But that's the UK scene. And honestly, I mean, there's a lot on the. I mean, you got Jake Paul and Chavez Jr. That's coming up. I think that's in June, I believe, as well. But I mean, the fight that everybody really is looking forward to, and we're looking for the date because I just looked on Hard Rock app. And it says Canelo Alvarez versus Crawford is September 12th.
I still see it there at
It's not
9:34 p.m.
It's September 13th.
Yeah.
They officially announced that. but they don't know where it's going to be either. So
Yeah.
I'm really curious about that. Crawford right now is in Australia too, by the way. Like what's going on? What's going on with Canelo Crawford? What do we know? All we know is September 13th, maybe.
All
I
we
guess.
know is like
where?
maybe September that weekend.
Yeah, maybe. We're doing a question mark about it.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Yeah.
Could be anytime. I mean, Turkish Al Sheikh's doing whatever he wants, I guess. But also,
as he has been.
Canelo does whatever
I
he
had a
wants.
conversation with somebody last night. I think it was Angel Cortez. I was in my office. His crew was doing some work in my office last night, some electrical work, and they did a great job, by the way. If you need any sort of work like that or any sort of trapping work, Angel Cortez, Central Florida
I
Trapping.
didn't know he did. I didn't know he did electrical stuff too, though.
Yep.
Ooh,
Yeah,
I might
once you
need him.
His crew is kind of built with handymen and stuff.
Jack
once
of all
you-
trades.
Once you got those kind of licensed guys that are licensed to kind of do it. Anyways, not to get too sidetracked, but we talked about, like, what do you think about like what's coming up? And this and that. I'm like, I don't know. And he's like, well, what do you think? Like, what do you think about Canelo Crawford? I'm like, I don't know. I mean, well, the same question marks. It's like, I don't know. It's coming, I think. And the Turkish Al Sheikh, I mean, they're just pouring money. They're just pouring money in and not getting much back, I don't think, at this point. And my question I posed back to him, because he's a boxing fan, he's watched boxing his whole life. What's the end game?
For Turkish Al Sheikh.
What's the end game for the Saudis? What's the play?
He wants boxing.
Yeah,
I think he wants to be the commissioner of boxing. He wants like an NFL type of deal.
yeah. I just,
He wants his
Interesting.
own. He wants to own
I mean,
boxing.
that's a lot of lead loss, right?
I think he wants to own boxing.
I think so.
Yeah.
And so far, right now, we talked about it probably a couple months ago. Like, he's the face. I mean,
He's working with all promoters too now. Like
Mm-hmm.
he's been with Matchroom. He's been with De La Hoya. I think he's even loosely trying to work with Top Rank and even PBC now too. Like, I mean,
well, they see all these promoters see the green, the dollar signs, and they go to it. So
get it while it's there to be got.
So I don't know. I don't know what the end game is. That's a different topic, I guess. But that's I just don't know what the end game is overall. Also, don't forget we also have Katie Taylor, Amanda Serrano coming up in July as well.
It's the first all
the same
women's,
thing.
I believe.
Yep.
All women's card.
And that one's kind of interesting. They opened Amanda Serrano
As
as
the
the
favorite.
Mm-hmm.
I like it because I think she should have been the favorite because I think she won the last one.
Yeah, that'll be an interesting. I like Baumgartner, so she's on that, and I think that'll be kind of a good show in general. But anyways, so yeah, that's kind of how it's been. That's how it's been. We can Trav. What do you got? What do you got? You want to go straight to final thoughts here?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, final thoughts.
Let's do
we
it.
can Trav.
I mean, I don't know if I can top the final thoughts of Antonio Kingdom Vargas. Like, the guy killed it. Like, I don't know. Like, I got most of my inspiration out in that little setting. So my final thoughts are, make sure you watch the podcast and make sure you subscribe to us. Make sure you're sharing us. Make sure you're liking things that we're sending out, because the more you like, the more you share, the more you subscribe, the more it gets us out there.
And the more
we appreciate
and
it.
the more we do.
Exactly. And I love doing this. So let's get us out there. Put us out there.
Well,
we have guys like Antonio Vargas that deserve that platform. So I hope for guys like him too that we can get out there to give the public and the world guys like Antonio Vargas.
Yeah, it's definitely been fun. We've been at this for several years now. Obviously, the rebrand and kind of the relaunch for the past now 5 shows here at the Stadium Club at the Caribe Royale in Orlando, Florida.
First full month here, man.
Pretty stinking cool, and we'll continue that. And so anytime anyone wants to join us, just follow us on Instagram and everywhere else we are. The TikTok, I'm not a part of that, but we can. Trav is weighing in with Travis Hartman. You see it in the back there. That's how you spell it all. It's in a logo. It's all one word. Go follow us there. Follow us on YouTube. Subscribe there, I should say. So subscribe to us on YouTube. Hit the little thumb icon saying you like the content. If you didn't like it, oh well. But comment below, too, if you have some thoughts about Manny Pacquiao or maybe Vargas or whoever else. My only final thought is we can Trav, because this will drop tomorrow, which is Memorial Day. So obviously we want to definitely, with thankful hearts and minds, salute those that have fallen, as that's what Memorial Day is for our fallen service men and women across history, to thank you for the ultimate sacrifice you have given us for our freedoms here in this country, as we celebrate you on Memorial Day. Never forget that. That's not it's not a barbecue weekend. It's not a boat weekend, though you can do those things and do those things.
Know why we do it, though.
Know why we do it, and that's because of the fallen heroes of this nation's history. So thank you so much to them. We can Travel, and that is it. Episode 184 in the books. That over there is the talent. We can Travel.
that there is B Money, aka producer, the man, the myth, the legend, the man that helps this podcast go round.
God bless.
God bless.